Many people suffer from heart attacks and other cardiovascular diseases. The good news is, most can be prevented with changes to diet and lifestyle. Today's lesson is on cardiovascular diseases and disorders. So, one of the first things we're going to talk about is the Inuit diet. So, traditionally, the Inuit diet consists of fish such as Arctic char, marine mammals such as seals, whales, and walruses, as well as caribou. And contrary to a Western and or European diet, Inuit people get more than 50% of their calories from fat. However, there's a very low incidence of cardiovascular disease among Inuit people. So to answer this question, we have to understand what cholesterol is and fat and its effects on the cardiovascular system. So low density lipoproteins um, eventually lead to buildup in the walls of our blood vessels and narrow the passageways and can sometimes form a clot. And if this clot gets stuck in the narrowed space, it can cause a heart attack or stroke. So low density lipoproteins are often called bad cholesterol. High density lipoproteins are referred as good cholesterol because they'll pick up excess cholesterol in our blood, even low density lipoproteins, and take it back to our liver where it can be broken down and removed from our body. Now, because marine mammals contain lots of omega-3 fatty acids, they also contain lots of this high-density lipoprotein. So even though the diet contains a lot of fat, it's actually good at keeping your cholesterol quite low. So those omega-3 fatty acids are some essential fatty acids, and these are ones that our body cannot synthesize itself, so it has to be obtained from food. And we can obtain them from fish and shellfish, marine mammals, as well as flaxseed, soybeans, walnuts, and canola oil. And then omega-6 fatty acids, which are also essential, however, slightly more harmful when consumed in high numbers, are obtained from things like corn oil, sunflower oil, as well as grazing animals such as cattle. So since the Inuit diet consists of fish and marine mammals, it's very high in polyunsaturated fats that contain high density lipoproteins as well as omega 3s. So they contain a lot of the good cholesterol in their diet, and this helps keep their cardiovascular risk low. Also, the harvesting of the food itself requires a lot of exercise. So they're always exercising their cardiovascular system and making it more efficient. Now we're going to talk about a few different cardiovascular diseases. Now, some of these are diseases of the blood vessel, and others of them are diseases of the heart. So arterial sclerosis is a disease of the blood vessel. This is where there's an accumulation of fat deposits in the blood vessels from fat, calcium, and other mineral buildups. And this can create plaque, which is a substance that was previously suspended in fluid. And it makes the arteries less flexible as well as have a smaller diameter. And if this happens in arteries, it's called arterial sclerosis. Now, those narrow arteries are more easily clogged, which, if you have a blood clot floating around in your body and it gets stuck, this could cause a change in your blood pressure, heart attack, or stroke. Risk factors for arterial sclerosis are obesity, having a high fat diet, smoking, having a sedentary lifestyle. Here again, we're going to talk a little bit about cholesterol. So this is a waxy-like substance that's present in the cell membrane of all our cells. So this is why those omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids are necessary. And it's carried by lipoproteins from the liver to the rest of the body. And we have low-density lipoproteins, which are bad cholesterol, which can be deposited in our cell walls. And we have high-density lipoproteins, or good cholesterol, which shuttle away the bad cholesterol from the cell wall. So they help keep your cardiovascular system clean of buildup. And again, that plaque buildup can lead to clots, strokes, and heart attacks. So when we look at fats and cholesterols in our bloodstream, we have saturated fats where all the bonds are occupied. There's no double or triple bonds. And this typically comes from animal sources like cattle and pigs. This will raise our low density lipoprotein, so it's a bad cholesterol. And it also includes trans fats, which are industry produced saturated fats from plant sources, so like hard margarine, where they've added hydrogen to break apart any double bonds. Now, unsaturated fats are fats where there is a double or triple bond. And so they are more healthy for our body. So this includes omega-6, 3s, and 9s. And this raises our high density lipoprotein cholesterol, which can help remove that low density lipoprotein cholesterol from our body and help keep our arteries clear. So trans fats are an industry-produced fat that starts with the hydrogenation of margarine. So we've taken a vegetable oil like canola or corn, we've added hydrogen to it and put it under added energy so that we can break apart those double bonds in the carbon chain, add hydrogens, and turn that into a solid fat. So this converts the carbon-carbon bonds, double and triple, to carbon-carbon single bonds, so more hydrogens can be added. Now, trans fats, because they're very harmful for our body, um, have been removed from a lot of different food products. However, if you check the label, you can see if trans fats are identified in the products that you're buying. And one thing to particularly check is microwave popcorn. So an aneurysm is where you have a bulge in the weakened walls of our blood vessels due to high blood pressure and possibly arterial sclerosis. And because those thin walls offer less support, it's possible that they'll rupture. And then, one, oxygen and nutrients are not delivered to cells past that rupture, and this can lead to cell death. And the most dangerous ones would be a heart attack or a stroke because of an aneurysm. One issue in our heart can be faulty valves. So sometimes valves weaken or have structural abnormalities. And then this would be a normal sounding heartbeat because the valve isn't able to close effectively. So you might hear a little bit of a whooshing sound instead of the clap of the lub dub. And so we can have backflow into the heart chamber. So the heart then has to work much harder in order to pump blood, which can lead to heart problems. So they can insert caged ball valves to replace faulty valves. They can use pig valves to replace ones because they're similar size to human ones. They can cauterize valves together if they have an extra flap in them and aren't closing properly. So it's one of the common ways that heart problems are fixed is through surgery of the valves. Another issue with hearts is issues with coronary circulation. And so this is where you might have a heart attack. So, like regular blood vessels, arteries that supply the heart with oxygen can also be obstructed due to plaque buildup. And then the pain that results when too little blood reaches our heart is called angina, which is often a precursor to a heart attack. If that artery is completely blocked, bypass surgery can be done, where an artery is grafted on from another area of a person's body or from a donor into the heart, which reroutes the blood past the blockage. Now, just to talk quickly about heart attacks, the symptoms of a heart attack in a man are very well known: chest pain, shortness of breath, sweating, pain in the arm. Where the symptoms of a heart attack in a woman are quite different. It could be pain, abdominal pain, back pain, a pressure on your chest. Um, Often they'll feel sick, they might be nauseous, but surprisingly enough, back pain is a common sign of a heart attack in women. So, because the signs of a heart attack in a woman are not as well known as men, they're often less likely to survive a massive cardiac event compared to a man with similar condition. So, it's important to educate yourself on what the signs of a heart attack are for your gender. Well, lastly, I want to talk about hypertension. Now, this is high blood pressure caused by an increased resistance to flow. Now, resistance to blood flow permanently raises blood pressure, which over time can lead to weakened blood vessels that may rupture in an aneurysm. So, the body is going to compensate for weakness by adding connective tissue. So, this causes the arteries to lose elasticity, making them less likely to stretch during the heartbeat. Now, this then is going to cause further stress and greater weakening. So, high blood pressure is a serious condition where diet is a huge factor. So, typically, people who have high blood pressure are asked to reduce the salt and fat in their diet to hopefully reduce the amount of plaque buildup on their blood vessels, which will raise their blood pressure. So, that's today's lesson on cardiovascular diseases. Take care.